Battle through the heavens, Grand World. Chapter 115 Opportunity. Pill Competition. Xiaoyan's heart skipped a beat when he heard this familiar yet somewhat unfamiliar word. The memories that he had for a long time surged up like a tidal wave, and some people and things that he had almost forgotten gradually began to recall. That's right. The Spirit Heaven Mansion is holding a competition in the pill competition of the entire prefecture. Every city under the Spirit Heaven Mansion is required to participate in this competition. Only new people under the age of 20 are required to participate in this competition. This is a competition that will attract the attention of everyone in the prefecture. Ji Yun nodded his head and said with a solemn expression. After recovering from his memories, Xiaoyan carefully assessed Ji Yun's words. After pondering for a moment, he shook his head and said with some difficulty, "I'm sorry, I have no intention of participating." Since this was the alchemy competition of the entire prefecture, it would certainly be a grand event. The participants were all geniuses from different places, even if he was already an alien realm soul. If he wanted to achieve a good result in the competition, at that time, the audience would think that there would be people from all over the world. There must be a lot of people watching the cross-regional competition as well. If he used the 3000 Lightning Monarch Flame and was discovered by the people of the Lei clan, it would be troublesome. Taking a step back, even if he didn't use the 3000 Lightning Monarch Flames, excluding the possibility of being discovered by the Lei clan, it was hard to guarantee that no other experts would be able to see through the Chaos Great Monarch Flame. No matter what, he would fall into a quagmire of being remembered by the experts. Ji Yun frowned when he heard this. Then, he said with some unwillingness in his heart, that is the competition of the entire prefecture. If you obtain the final victory, I don't dare say anything about the Star Moon Spirit Domain. Your reputation will at least become the legend of this prefecture. Upon hearing this, Xiaoyan smiled noncommittally. Just as he was about to reject the offer, a thought suddenly struck him. If the pill competition of the entire prefecture won the competition, it would be considered the highest honor of the prefecture. In this way, wouldn't the second requirement of the holy rank trial be met? Ji Yun naturally couldn't tell what Xiaoyan was thinking. When he saw that Xiaoyan was silent, "I heard from Wei Jun that you won't stay in Spirit Sky City forever. I will wait for you to leave. The Flame Spirit Gang that you built in Black Region, if you can enter the top 10 of the alchemy competition, I will use my subordinates to help it survive for a long time. If it can enter the top 3, I will let it monopolize the Black Region. What do you think?" Ji Yun had given up almost all the benefits of the Alchemist Association in the Black Region. He had done everything he could to get Xiaoyan to agree. The competition of the Spirit Heaven Mansion was held once every 5 years, and it had been held 11 times in a row. The Spirit Sky City was at the end of the competition, and it had become the laughingstock of the other alchemist associations. If he became the last place of the competition this time, his position as the president of the Pill Association would come to an end. Therefore, pulling Xiaoyan along was his last chance. As for Xu Che's student Bai Qian and his student Fu Zan, although they were indeed the most outstanding young alchemists in the past 20 years, however, Ji Yun still did not have confidence. After hearing about Xiaoyan from Wei Jun yesterday, Ji Yun, who was having a headache over this year's alchemy competition, seemed to see hope in an instant. If it wasn't for his own identity, he had called Xiaoyan over yesterday. Hearing Ji Yun's words, Xiaoyan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He said with some amusement, "Chairman Ji, I'm afraid the city lord won't agree to let the Flame Spirit Gang monopolize the Black Region." Ji Yun was delighted when he heard this. He then said, "Gang Lord Xiao, don't worry. The city lord is my younger brother. If the Spirit Sky City's Alchemist Association returns with a crushing defeat this time, my days as the guild leader will come to an end. At that time, I won't have the support of the Alchemist Association anymore. It would be a little difficult for him to deal with the Spirit Sky City's Feng family. As long as Gang Lord Xiao can help Spirit Sky City achieve good results in the pill competition, what I said will definitely come true." Xiaoyan smiled bitterly in his heart. Ji Yun wanted him to achieve good results, but to him, the champion of the pill competition this time must be in his hands. Otherwise, he wouldn't know where the next chance of him obtaining the highest honor in the entire prefecture would be. If that's the case, I would like to thank Elder Ji for his kindness. He let out a light sigh. Xiao Yan raised his head and cupped his fists. Ji Yun was overjoyed when he heard this. The worries in his heart were finally relieved. He looked much more relaxed now. Xiao Yan's soul strength had already reached the early alien realm. He wasn't too far away from the peak. A soul power of this level. Although it was difficult for him to win the championship, according to the previous years, he would definitely be able to enter the top 5. Would he be able to earn back the face of the Spirit Sky City's alchemist for the past few decades? It would depend on this time. How do you test the age of an alchemist? Don't tell me that it's to observe one's appearance. Xiao Yan thought for a moment and asked. If he were to judge him based on his appearance, there was a high chance that he would make a mistake. If that was the case, how could he test if the participants were below 20 years old? Of course not. Everyone in this great world was born. A medium will be produced in the blood within the body, growing along with the person. Every year, they will shrink by 1-fold, until they start absorbing origin monarch ki for cultivation. When the shrinking stopped, the medium would form a spiral with the growth of his age. It would be like a tree's growth cycle. At that time, the examiners would only need to extract a drop of blood from the participants. In addition to the age reduction, the participant's age could be determined. The precise test will even be able to determine the month and date of the participant. Ji Yun organized his thoughts and said without stopping. Xiao Yan couldn't help but nod when he heard this. This was a very feasible method, and it ensured the fairness of the competition to the greatest extent. The competition stipulates that each city must have 5 participants at most. I have discussed with the elders of the Elixir Association. If you don't have the strength, it won't help even if you send too many people. I have decided that Gang Lord Xiao, Fu Zan, my student, and Elder Shu's student, Bai Qian, will participate in the competition. Putting down his worries, Ji Yun began to talk about the competition in detail to Xiao Yan. Fu Zan, Bai Qian. Hearing the name Bai Qian, Xiao Yan suddenly remembered the purple dress girl from before. He nodded slightly. Peak true monarch stage soul. She could be considered a rare genius to be able to refine a high grade 3 medicine pill. As for that Fu Zan, he had never seen him before. However, since he was accepted as a disciple by the chairman of the Alchemist Association, he must have extraordinary talent. Pill competition is still a month away from the spiritual Sky City. Spirit Sky City is quite far away from the spiritual Sky City. We will depart in 3 days. During this period of time, Gang Lord Xiao should have a good rest. When the time comes, I will send someone to invite you. Ji Yun let out a long sigh. 3 days later. Didn't the Spirit Heaven Mansion's transportation array arrive in Spirit Sky City? Xiao Yan was a little surprised when he heard this. Ji Yun smiled bitterly and said, Gang Lord Xiao must have teleported here from the forest domain. The spatial restraint of the star domain is several times greater than the forest domain. Ordinary transportation array cannot be used in remote cities like the Spirit Sky City. Only high-level ones are not restricted. However, with the financial resources of the Spirit Sky City, it is impossible to buy it. After listening to Ji Yun's sad complaints, Xiao Yan could only nod his head and accept it. He felt relieved in his heart. In that case, I will take my leave. After discussing everything, Xiao Yan had no intention of staying here for long. After saying goodbye to Ji Yun, he was just about to leave when he suddenly said, Elder Ji, the deputy sect master of Flame Spirit Gang, Duruoxi, has also reached the realm of a first-grade minor alchemist. Can the Alchemist Association's application be approved? When Ji Yun heard this, he said without hesitation. Of course. I will immediately send someone to the Black region to make way. Duruoxi came over. The application will be completed immediately. Thank you, Elder Ji. Xiao Yan cupped his hands and left Ji Yun's room. There were still 3 days before the departure. He hadn't concocted pills for a long time, so he felt a little rusty. He had to recover from the state of concocting pills in these 3 days. Chapter end. Hi guys, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.